Disneyland has changed a lot in the past year, and we've got more changes coming. Let's talk about the best times to visit Disneyland this year. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Though both Disneyland and Disney World have a lot of similarities, they are not the same. So when you plan your trip out west, you'll need to know about those ride refurbishments, unique holiday celebrations, crowd levels, etc. ahead of time, including updated restaurants, menu changes, new rides, and more. Now, I'm about to hit you with a lot of important info here, so if you'd like to look back on it over your own time, head to disneyfoodblog.com/DL2022 to get everything I talk about today in PDF form sent straight to your email. Before I break down the specifics of a Disneyland vacation, we're going to go over the most important pros and cons. And that refers to when you're going to Disneyland. Now, a lot of this hinges on crowds and weather. Winter temperatures are usually pretty mild, averaging around the lower 50s to upper 60s. Much like Disney World, you're going to experience lower crowds around this time, but those potentially brisk days are going to make the water rides and afternoon dips in the resort pools a lot less appealing. Spring temperatures are rather mild too. Crowds aren't too terrible at the beginning of March, but after mid-March, you'll need to brace yourself for the spring break masses. You'll also start to run into grad nights around mid-May, which I'll talk about later on. Even though grad nights take place after the parks close, you should expect busy days leading up to those after-hours festivities. Want to skip out on the intensive summer heat? In Disney World, then a trip to Disneyland may play more in your favor. The temperatures do start to warm up in June, but the summer averages range around the 60s to mid-80s. Not too shabby and definitely not as hot as Orlando. Then again, you're also going to see some peak crowd levels during this time too, thanks to all those summer vacationers and everybody in California who's an annual pass holder and taking their vacation too at the happiest place on earth. Some of Disneyland's lowest crowd days happen in the fall, especially between mid-September to mid-November leading up to the holiday season. You can still expect some really warm days in the fall, probably won't feel much of a temperature drop until November when things start to cool down to a nice mid-70s on average. And then there are the holidays. It doesn't matter whether you're in Orlando or Anaheim, you're going to experience those intense Christmas crowds, but you're also going to be able to experience all the wintry festivities that differ from the events in Disney World. Weather during that time, mid-40s to mid-60s. Okay, moving down our path of when are we going to go to Disneyland, here's what you need to know about 2022 in the West Coast Disney parks. There are 6 important things you need to know before you start planning on when you're going to Disneyland that will most definitely impact your vacation. Number 1, not everything's going to be open. Though many Disneyland and California Adventure experiences are back up and running again after that year-long closure, these parks are still flashing those temporarily unavailable signs for select attractions and restaurants and shows. Some of these, like Fantasmic, World of Color, Finding Nemo's Undersea Voyage, and Star Wars Launch Bay, are slated to reopen sometime this year, but no exact dates. Other experiences like Pixie Hollow, the Magic Happens Parade, and Daisy's Diner have no plans yet to open. Some of Disneyland's perks also remain unavailable for the time being, like the behind-the-scenes tours and select fireworks dining packages. If there's a certain experience you're wanting to double-check on, you can always check it out on the Disneyland website. They'll let you know if something is going to be closed, whether it be for a temporary or extended amount of time. We also have all those details on our website at Disney Food Blog, and joining our newsletter gets those sent right to your inbox. All right, number 2, Disney Genie Plus and the individual attraction selections look different in Disneyland than they do in Disney World. For starters, Disney Genie Plus, aka the replacement FastPass service that allows you to bypass main queue lines, costs $20 per person per day in Disneyland, which is different from the $15 per person per day in Disney World. Disney Genie Plus prices on both coasts are set in stone. The individual attraction selections, aka the second part of the replacement FastPass services, that allows you to skip those main queues of the super popular attractions for a separate cost, have prices that fluctuate depending on the season. That being said, Disney IAS prices again have been steeper. In Disney World, we haven't seen individual attraction selection prices go over $15 per person for rides like Rise of the Resistance, while at Disneyland, we've seen Rise of the Resistance top out at $20 per person, and that's just for one ride through. So if you're going to Disneyland during those peak season times, be wary of those surging IAS prices if that's something you're interested in investing in. If you want to learn more about the differences between Disney Genie Plus and IAS in Disneyland versus Disney World, we've got a whole post comparing the two. I'll link it down in the description below for you. Number 3 on our list, prices fluctuate depending on the season. IAS prices aren't the only thing with surge potential. Depending on what time of year you're planning on visiting, you're going to run into different prices for hotel rooms and different availability for park passes. Remember how I was talking about those slower seasons for the beginning of the year or around the fall? Well, you're going to experience cheaper hotel rooms to book on property and find cheaper tickets for the midweek. This might sound very similar to Disney World, but there's a bit of a catch. If you're planning on getting tickets on the weekend and not midweek for any time of the year, be prepared to pay significantly more. You'll see what I mean when I start dissecting the different seasons here in a bit. Budget accordingly. If you know the only time you're going to be able to visit Disneyland is going to be on an extended weekend, be prepared to pay more than you would if you were going during a regular weekday. And book your park passes a lot sooner. Speaking of, park pass reservations are still in effect in Disneyland. Both Disney World and Disneyland are keeping hold of those park pass reservation systems for the foreseeable future, meaning you cannot forget to make your park pass reservation as soon as you purchase your theme park tickets. You can check park pass reservations on the Disney website on their crowd calendar before you purchase your tickets to make sure the time you're wanting to go is still available for more guests. The park pass reservation system is pretty straightforward, but if you need further guidance on getting those reservations locked and loaded, check out our step-by-step park pass reservation guide on the DFB website. And remember, Disneyland has had fewer park pass reservations, especially for annual pass holders lately, so definitely check that availability calendar before you book your tickets and choose your dates. Number 5, health and safety regulations can change at any time. Times are ever changing, as you know. Currently, Disneyland has many fun events and openings planned for this year, but that doesn't mean all the events I'm talking about today are a certainty. If 2020 taught us anything, it taught us to keep up to date on the latest news and announcements just in case plans have to change on a whim. Right now, masking regulations are the same as Disney World's. Face coverings are required for guests 2 and up in all indoor locations, but remain optional for outdoor areas around the parks. But again, that could change during this year. So if you're planning a 2022 Disneyland vacation, stay in the know by regularly checking on festival schedules, closure announcements, and potential updated masking policies on the Disneyland website. You can also check in with us on this channel and our latest news updates on the DFB website. Okay, time to move right along and into the seasonal breakdown for what you can expect in Disneyland for winter, spring, summer, and fall in 2022. We're already well into the winter season, but if you're planning on heading to Disneyland soon, like soon, then allow me to fill you in on what's going on now. On January 10th, Splash Mountain closed for an extended refurbishment, just like Disney World's, but unlike Disney World's, this refurbishment is expected to extend out into early spring. This refurbishment is just a little touch-up, and TLC on the classic log flume and is not connected to the eventual Princess and the Frog retheme that Disney announced in the summer of 2020. If you venture into Disney California Adventure between January 21st and February 13th, you'll be able to experience the Lunar New Year in Paradise Gardens Park. During this event, you'll be able to see rare character sightings. I hear Raya's even going to be there. Taste test an array of Asian cuisines, watch the exclusive live entertainment, and much more. Happy Year of the Tiger, everyone. Looking to plan a vacation with your special someone? Then you might want to plan around Disneyland After Dark Sweethearts Night. This is a separately ticketed event that runs from 8 p.m. to midnight and features a special fireworks show, several PhotoPass ops, and some of the most romantic scenes featured in Disney movies, and sweet snacks to share with your partner as you wander through the Disneyland park with limited crowds and limited wait times. Heads up, you most certainly do not have to visit this event with a partner. You can go by yourself, you can go with a friend. You don't have to prove romantic attachment at all. This event happens on February 1st, 3rd, 8th, 10th, and 14th and starts at $114 per person. Now, whether you intend the Valentine's Day after hours or not, be prepared for a sudden uptick in crowd levels around Valentine's Day weekend. The park will be bustling with celebrating couples and families. On Valentine's Day, the Disneyland monorail will be going dark for a bit for an extended refurb too. Disney has yet to announce how long the monorail system will remain temporarily unavailable. You're going to see some of Disneyland's cheaper ticket prices around January 18th through the 20th, leading up to the Lunar New Year event. And we're also seeing similar lower prices for January 25th through 27th and the beginning of February. Prices during this time range around $104 per person per day. But remember what I said before about weekend prices being spiked? To visit the parks on a weekend this winter, expect to pay around $159 per day. Yeah, I wasn't joking about that uptick. That being said, these may still wind up being some of the cheaper weekend prices you'll come across in 2022. So if you want to take a weekend getaway to Disneyland, this could still be one of your better options. Overall, winter in Disneyland can be brisk at times, but still isn't quite as chilly as the rest of the world in the midst of January. So if you're looking to escape the cold and experience lower crowd levels, then a winter trip might be just the ticket. January and February will also be your last times to experience Mickey's Toontown before its big refurbishment, which I'm going to talk about in just a sec. However, if you'd rather go to the parks when you can take a dip in the pool in the afternoon and experience rides like Splash Mountain and Grizzly River Run over in Disney California Adventure, then you might want to hold off on a winter January-February getaway. Moving on to spring. Spring is going to be the kickoff of giant changes in Disneyland this year. Mickey's Toontown is going to be closing in March 2022 to make way for a reimagined Toontown, which will include new interactive elements and the trackless dark ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which was introduced to Disney's Hollywood Studios back in March 2020, right before the closures. For some, you might not mind this section of the park going dark until 2023, but for some who'd rather wait for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway to open up before their big trip out west, it may be best for you to hold off on visiting this year and wait for word on when this major project will wrap up and be ready for guests to explore. March is also the kickoff of Disney California Adventure's Food and Wine Festival, which runs between March 4th to April 26th. Get ready for live musical performances, culinary demonstrations, and a lot of food and a lot of wine and beer. Looking for another Disneyland After Dark event to attend this spring? How about Villains Night, which runs on March 8th and 10th? During this dreadfully frightful evening, you'll dance in the underworld, take pictures in villainous lairs, and meet your favorite misunderstood antagonists. Prices for this event start at $119. April 24th is the unofficial spring Disneyland event, Dapper Days, where Disney guests come dressed to the nines in vintage-looking Disney-bounding attire. Although crowds aren't terrible toward the end of April, Dapper Days definitely draws in a crowd, especially around attractions in areas that usually aren't that crowded, like King Arthur Carousel in Fantasyland and Carthay Circle in Disney California Adventure. Oh wait, you thought there was only going to be one chance for a springtime Disneyland After Dark event? What if I told you there was another chance in May? But of course, this one is Star Wars themed. Star Wars Night runs May 3rd, 4th, because May the 4th be with you, of course, and 27th. This event will thrust you into a galaxy far, far away with a Star Wars fireworks spectacular, after-hours access to those popular Batuu rides like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, and Intergalactic Eats. Prices for this event start at $134 per person. Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned Grad Nights, so let me expand on that. Grad Nights hasn't been available for the past 2 years because of the extended closures, but it is returning in 2022. To celebrate local graduating high school seniors, Disney California Adventure lets graduates sign up for extended park hours reserved specifically for them and only them. These extended hours run from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. You'd think that since this is a nighttime extravaganza, you wouldn't have to worry about heavy crowds during the day, right? Not exactly. The event not only provides students with admission to the parks at night, but daytime tickets to both Disneyland and Disney California Adventure as well. So be prepared for extra celebrating teenagers on the following days in May: 13, 14, 18, 20, 21, 25, 26, and 31. At the beginning of March, around the 1st and 2nd, as well as the 8th and 9th, ticket prices are around $104, just like the cheaper prices featured in the winter. But this is the calm before the storm for Disneyland. Once spring break hits, ticket prices start to climb, and weekend prices for the weekends peak at $164 per person. Prices dip a bit again in early May. We even saw May 10th post $104 per ticket again, but with the mix of grad nights and the start of family summer vacations, crowds are going to start to pick up once again. That being said, if you can hit up the parks between the days when grad nights are happening, you may still experience a pretty chill Disneyland day. In conclusion, spring is a roller coaster of crowds all on its own, but as long as you plan ahead, you can still navigate the parks well and enjoy the mild temperatures that March, April, and May provide, while also experiencing some fun festivals. Okay, going into summer, just want to give you a heads up about the remaining sections of this video. As of when this video is released, there are no official ticket prices for Disneyland posted for summer, fall, and end of the year. If you're planning a Disneyland trip toward the middle or end of the year, you'll have to keep checking back on the Disneyland website as they continue to update their calendar with more prices and park pass reservations. But for now, I can still let you know what to expect when these ticket prices are updated. Grad nights will continue throughout June 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 11th, and 17th. With grad nights and summer vacation crowds, the parks can get really busy, so planning ahead is vital to navigating Disneyland around this time. Book dining reservations 60 days out if possible. While there aren't as many people booking dining reservations at Disneyland ahead of time because most of the visitors to the parks are locals, there are fewer table service dining options in Disneyland, and so they still book up really fast. Now, Disney Genie might also wind up being your BFF here in Disneyland, even if you prefer not to use the premium Disney Genie Plus and IAS features. The free version can still help you plan around those crowds and predict wait times for rides, as well as create a flexible itinerary that's built around you and your travel party's personal preferences. July is also going to see some pretty hefty crowd levels, but there are 2 days in particular that we're expecting to see them peak. First, we've got the 4th of July. Disneyland will have a special patriotic fireworks celebration at Sleeping Beauty Castle that night. If you're wanting to be part of the festivities, set your expectations for long lines, but also be prepared for plenty of red, white, and blue decorations and desserts. And second, we've got Disneyland's birthday to look forward to in July. This year, Disneyland will be turning 67 years old. Looks pretty good for its age, doesn't it? This isn't really a significant number, like when the 50th anniversary festivities kicked off in Disney World or when Disneyland turned 60. But Disneyland fans, especially locals, will more than likely flock to the park to celebrate. So crowds can be significant during summer vacation, but they start to dwindle when school's back in session. If you're looking for a summer vacation with milder temperatures than what Florida serves up, Disneyland's got you covered. But if you're looking for a summer vacation with milder weather and lower crowds, you may want to wait to book your 2022 trip for the end of August if possible. That being said, if Haunted Mansion is one of your favorite attractions, wait on that August vacation. Haunted Mansion will go dark for a while in the middle of August as it prepares for the holidays. When it reopens, it'll be its full Haunted Mansion holiday attire, featuring the jolly and slightly misguided citizens of Halloween Town from A Nightmare Before Christmas. This overlay lasts throughout the Halloween and Christmas seasons, and as much fun as it is to experience, it's kind of a bummer if your August vacation winds up during its temporary closure. If the only time you can make it out to Disneyland is during the summer, that's okay. Go have the best day ever for me. Just remember to plan. You can still weave your way through the crowds and have successful trips if you've got all your ducks in a row beforehand. Don't leave all the things you want to do to chance. Book reservations when reservations start to open up and have a list of your must-dos ready to go. Also, study up on Disney Genie Plus and figure out if that's something you want to book. They don't have nearly as many rides in Disneyland as they do in Disney World on Disney Genie Plus, but they could still save you a lot of time if that's an expense you want to adopt. All right, time to roll into fall. Once mid-September strikes, crowd levels become much more manageable and stay pretty mild until the week before Thanksgiving. But leading up to Thanksgiving are some unique events that you might want to plan your 2022 vacation around. Starting at the beginning of September is Plaza de la Familia over at Disney's California Adventure. This seasonal festivities celebrates Dia de los Muertos through music from Coco, special cuisines, and several different activities for the whole family to enjoy. Not to mention you'll get to meet Miguel during all the storytelling fun. The Miguel hand-animated dimensional figure performs and interacts with guests during the Mariachi Divas show. Last year, this event ran from September 3rd to November 2nd. You know what else Disneyland in autumn means? Halloween time. What does Halloween time in Disneyland look like? Well, it means our favorite characters sporting their best Halloween costumes. And you'll also be able to experience some Halloween overlays like the Haunted Mansion holiday and maybe Space Mountain's Ghost Galaxy, which is really scary. Disney California Adventure kicks up the spooks a notch and their ride overlays too. Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark and Luigi's Honkin' Halloween and Mater's Graveyard Jamboree take over in California Adventure. On some nights, you'll also be able to watch the Sleeping Beauty Castle show Halloween Screams, which is filled with mischievous characters, spooky soundscapes, and a hauntingly beautiful fireworks display. Oogie Boogie Bash will be available as an after-hours event at Disney California Adventure for those looking for extra spookage. This is a separately ticketed event featuring rare character sightings, trick-or-treat trails, the frightfully fun parade, and super chilling Villains Grove Maze, which is actually really, really cool. Last year, prices for this event ranged from $114 to $169, with cheaper tickets being available on Tuesdays, but heads up, this sells out so fast, like instantaneously. So if you want to go to Oogie Boogie Bash, be sure to sign up for our newsletter, know when those tickets are going to go on sale, and get on that right away. Dapper Days return in the fall around November 5th and 6th, so if you were wishing to go in the spring but couldn't make it out, here's your second chance to dust off your vintage attire and stroll down the OG Main Street USA in your best Disney bounding duds. A fall Disneyland vacation is great when it comes to lower crowd levels and nice temperatures, but don't forget about those weekend price spikes. Crowds tend to pick up when it gets closer to Halloween time, so don't be surprised by those high wait times toward the end of October. And when November rolls around, we're officially in Christmas mode. The holiday decor in Disneyland popped up last year around mid-November and lasted until January 9th this year. And the after-hours event for the holidays, Disney Merriest Nights, that one is an interesting case. Don't get me wrong, it's a super fun event. Strangely enough, the highest prices for Disney Merriest Nights last year were for November 11th, which was the first night this event was offered. Usually we're all like, yeah, go earlier in the season. Prices are cheaper then, but I can't do that for this one. On November 11th, prices for the after-hours event were $175 per person, while the other nights charged $165 per person. Another wild thing about this event is that it was only offered until December 9th, meaning you've got to get in the holiday spirit earlier rather than later if you want to hit up this separately ticketed event. Again, a super popular event. And what will you find? A Christmas fantasy parade, live music, exclusive merchandise, and lots of Snope. Also, the Muppets singing Christmas carols, maybe? Fingers crossed. Moving on to the holidays. We've come full circle and have returned to the winter season. You don't have to go to Disney Merriest Nights to experience Disneyland during the holidays. You can experience holly jolly goodness with a regular park ticket too. Sleeping Beauty Castle will transform into its wintry ethereal form with glimmering lights and icicles once night falls. And on select nights, you'll be able to watch Sleeping Beauty Castle take its celebratory facade one step further with the Believe in Holiday Magic Fireworks Spectacular. So check on Disneyland's events calendar and make sure your Christmas Disney trip lands on a night it's showing if that's something you're interested in watching. It's a Small World will get a holiday overlay alongside Haunted Mansion, and Cars Land will switch over from its spooky vibes to its merry and bright vibes at Disney California Adventure with its holiday, H-A-U-L, get it? Yeah. Overlays like Mater's Jingle Jamboree and Luigi's Joy to the Whirl. And much like Epcot at Disney World, Disney California Adventure has a Festival of Holidays. Note that it's not Festival of the Holidays, it's Festival of Holidays in Disneyland that kicks off in the fall and lasts throughout the Christmas season. You'll be able to celebrate not only Christmas, but Hanukkah, Diwali, Kwanzaa, Three Kings Day, and more, as well as munch on some sweet treats and dance along with the Disney Viva Navidad performances. Disneyland can get crazy crowded during December, just like Disney World, because people are ready to celebrate, but that doesn't mean a December trip needs to be avoided. December is a unique time in Disneyland, and you can take part in lots of limited time experiences. Just remember to give yourself plenty of breaks to prevent that holiday vacation burnout early on, and since there are fewer parks to tackle in Disneyland, use that to your advantage. Pace out your trips, you can have multiple break days if needed. Also remember that traveling to and from the different parks in downtown Disney's shopping district won't be an issue like it is at Disney World. So you won't have to worry about planning your 2022 trip around how to best get around the property. Disneyland, Downtown Disney, and Disney California Adventure are all within walking distance of one another. It's real easy. This also makes park hopper passes easier to use if you only have 1 or 2 days to spend in the parks. So what time works best for you in 2022? Every travel party will have different preferences, so you might decide the calmer winter seasons are best or be ready to take on the hustle and bustle of those energetic summer days. Whatever the case may be, we're here for you to help with all your Disney planning. If you want to look back over this Disneyland list, remember that you can request it at disneyfoodblog.com/DL2022. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.